Welcome to the Health and Wealth Power Hour, the podcast that provides you with the knowledge and insights you need to achieve physical, mental, and financial well-being. I'm your host, Arlen Pickett, a business consultant who's passionate about helping people achieve a more balanced and healthier life. Each week, we'll deep dive into topics related to health and wealth, including retirement income planning, innovative healthcare solutions, alternative funded health plans, and specific actions individuals and business owners can take to gain control of their finances, have access to affordable quality health care, and achieve peace of mind. We'll also be joined by innovative experts who will share their knowledge and insights on prevalent topics. So, whether you're looking to grow your wealth or improve your health, you've come to the right place. Get ready to be informed, inspired, and empowered. Let's get started. To scale, folks, if you're doing what you normally do with the Health and Wealth Power Hour and you're listening on one of the podcast stations, whether it's Spotify or Apple or wherever you may listen, there is video this time on, if you go over to YouTube. One of the things that Tom wanted to be able to do is to show you some of these concepts and show you some of these instruments. And so we are doing the video for this on YouTube. So if you want to see that, you can stop listening right now, or you can listen to the whole thing and then go back and watch the little parts of it that are videos. So just want to give y'all a quick update on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the Health and Wealth Power Hour. I am your host, Arlen Pickett. Great to have you with us today. This is going to be one of the more unique episodes that you have ever heard us go through, because you probably have never heard of what we're going to talk about today. And while you may be skeptical, I think by the end of this show, you're going to say, you know what, there may be something here, and maybe I want to check this out. We are talking today with the one and only Tom Paladino. Welcome to the era of quantum healing. Oh, man, that just sounds awesome. I just like to say quantum healing. Welcome aboard, Tom.
Well, thank you for the invite.
And I'll tell you, this is cutting edge stuff, right? This is truly cutting edge stuff. So much so that Tesla, Nikola Tesla? What? How can it be cutting edge if he knew about it way back then? Tell us a little bit about that story and how we got from there to here, Tom.
In my estimation, Tesla was the first man to work with this energy, scalar energy, what I consider to be the energy of the sun and the stars. If you look at the universe, where does all that light come from? The stars. What type of light is that? Stellar light, scalar light. So scalar energy is the, if you will, primal force in the universe. And Tesla was the first scientist that I know of that was able to capture scalar energy and then use it to the benefit of people. Well, I'm trying to reintroduce scalar energy, that branch of physics, to humanity. It is indeed a valid science, and I can prove that through instrumentation.
So when we're talking about the scalar energy, what you specifically are talking about is how it can help in healing, how it can help in a lot of different things. We're not just talking about physical ailments. We're talking about some chronic type ailments and different things too, right? You're truly harnessing, as you say, the power that's out there, the power of the universe, and you're using instruments to help control those things or to cure those things.
Yes, that's correct. And my method is unique. And before we get into this, this is not going to be your typical biological presentation. I don't work with people or animals. I'll get into that. But to distinguish, this is informational. It is not biological.
Gotcha. Right. Absolutely. So what got you into this? What really brought this to you're like, wait a second, what is this? And why didn't I know about it? And how do I tell more people about it? Because I got to, now that you know it, you had to share it.
Yeah. Thank you. 50 years ago, I was studying Tesla as a teenager, and I could understand the concept behind his work. I could not understand it from a schematic standpoint, but I knew that what he was doing was quite profound. And I decided to study this throughout my life. So I am self-taught. You have to be self-taught. This is not taught by academia. Why did I do this? I see the potential. This technology will change the world. I see the potential behind scalar technology.
Okay, so the potential is there. There's very few people that are involved in it right now, right? There's very few people that even know it or understand it. Is it because it's kind of way out there, or is it because it really is so new that a lot of folks haven't adopted it, or is it a kind of a combination of both?
All of the above. Yes, it is esoteric. To be quite candid, this energy is not, once again, taught by academia. The scientific world has never grasped this. So the point is that there are two energy fields, but sadly, we only consider electricity and magnetism. Now, another drawback is this energy cannot be measured. I believe this energy pervades the universe. I believe it's infinite energy. So there's no way to measure infinite. So you can't quantify the results. If those of you with a religious background, I believe this is the omnipresence of God. Yes, I mean that. If God is light, then this is the light of God. You cannot measure God. You cannot measure infinite light.
No, I mean, that's a great point. He just is. He is, he was, and he always will be. And yeah, that power is there. Absolutely. And so in your estimation, it's power that he gave us to harness for this purpose. We just haven't done so because once again, it's not taught. It just hasn't been done up to this point in a grand scale, maybe in a small scale, such as folks such as yourself, but in a grand scale, it hasn't been adopted.
That's correct. But we're going to change that. And again, I want to impart how important this could be to mankind, how the energy of the stars is free energy. That's right. I'll repeat that. The energy of the stars is free. It's not coal. It's not electricity. It's not a wind farm. This is free energy. Imagine how the world could benefit with all the applications of free energy, whether that's in quantum health or transportation or energy generation to heat our homes, to cool our homes. So this is the avenue that we're following. Free energy or relatively inexpensive energy in application will change the course of history.
And I'm going to sound like the conspiracy theorist here now, but there's a lot of people that would not be happy with that, Tom. So that very well could be another reason why we haven't heard about this and it hasn't been a grand application.
You're right. You're right. Free energy will upset the military-industrial complex. Let's just be candid. Free energy will change many industries, will make many industries obsolete. We'll have to convert to this better way of doing things. So if you look at the horse and buggy, very few people travel in the horse and buggy anymore. For the most part, that's quaint, but it's obsolete, according to most people. Well, eventually, we're going to see many industries go the way of the horse and buggy, and they will be obsolete.
Yeah, so, to your point, about 110 years ago right now, if you looked at a picture of downtown New York, all you saw was horse and buggies. I think in that one picture that I saw, there was one car. Fast forward 100 years ago, so 10 years after that, and there was one horse and buggy, and the road was full of cars. In fact, one of the biggest jobs there was out there back then were people taking care of horses. And right. All of a sudden it became obsolete, right? Because
you're right.
So,
right. Thank you. So yeah, let me demonstrate. This is the scalar energy instrument behind me. These are custom built instruments. To demonstrate, there's no moving parts. I'm going to point to a vacuum tube that will create a scalar wave. What do I mean by scalar wave? That's a time-lapse photograph of a double helix. It's a spiral. Scalar energy is a spiral. It's not electricity. So this instrument, if you will, is propagating a spiral of energy, a double helix of energy. And the instrument's so strong, it's emanating now scalar energy from these two Tesla coils. It will animate a light bulb in my hand. So this is if you will, a significant improvement as far as I'm concerned from the existing energy paradigm. To work with free, clean energy from the sun and the stars without any pollution That's where we're going with this new generation of energy, power, if you will, distribution of energy, and in so doing, the enhancement of our lifestyle.
Very, very cool to see that, because there's absolutely nothing that I can see behind you that's causing this. And certainly you don't appear to be in any danger by electrical current right next to you that's fixing to shock you and then lay you down.
You're right. And that's another benefit. This is not electricity. I've never been shocked by an instrument, a scalar energy instrument. Why? It's not of that paradigm. It's a different type of energy. Actually, you cannot be shocked. It's not electricity. Now, furthermore, the energy is non-physical. So it does not rely upon a chemical reaction. There's no sharing of electrons. There's not one electron, and there is no covalent bond. So what am I speaking of? Non-physical intelligence, non-physical information. That's why I'm so excited about this. We're beyond the physical realm. We're in the realm of non-physical information, which is much easier to work with than a chemical reaction.
So we're looking at this in a power. So we're talking about power right now and how it can be used in that side. But one of the other benefits, as I said kind of in the introduction, is using quantum energy for health as well. How does this apply on the health side? How does this apply on healing and on that side of it? Because, yeah, great, I can light up a light bulb, but how does it keep me from getting this, or how does it help me cure this or whatever?
Okay, let's get down to the brass tacks. Now, I'm going to offer this caveat. Before I begin, remember, this is not Newtonian science. This is not electricity or magnetism. Scalar energy has a signal or signature everywhere, including a photograph of a person. This is my photograph. For those who are not watching by Zoom, this photograph has signature. This is my photograph that has an energy signature, a force field attached to it. When I work with these instruments, I never work with people in the flesh, which would be a chemical reaction. I work with people by way of their photograph, which is their information field, their force field. Some people call that the aura. So we're working on a different level. We're working on a non-physical informational level. Now, my photograph reports my constitution in the real-time fashion. In other words, my soul, mind, and body can be, if you will, found, identified upon that photograph. Now, for instance, recently we've been working with people who complain that they have cancer or a tumor. I can prove my work thus far by looking at a person's photograph and identifying cancer or a tumor in their information field. And I can negate cancer or a tumor in the informational field on the photograph. I have great success in so doing. So my statement to your audience is, working with this new branch of science, we can detect a disease signature on a person's photograph and negate it.
Wow.
That is monumental, because all action begins at the informational level. I choose just to work at the informational level, not at the chemical level.
Okay, so let's kind of dive into that. When you say you're looking, you see the information there in the aura that there's a tumor. We'll just use that because that's real easy to think of. Not that you want one, but it's easy to think about. Through the instruments, then, what does that process look like, Tom? I mean, I understand in concept what you're saying, that you see the information and then you're able to, as you said, delete the tumor, right? Well, what does that look like in reality, in action, as it were?
Okay. I can only theorize upon the photograph, because that's all my experience. By the way, these instruments do not work with people. So if there's a mutation on that, in my force field, the energy is self-correcting. The energy will correct the base pair mutation. Now let me hold this up once again. This is a scalar wave, which is perfect energy, perfect intelligence. Now, keep in mind, energy, light, is fundamental and never makes a mistake. So if I download that motif, that animating force, scalar energy, that spiral of energy into my force field will be corrected. So never working at the chemical state, always working at the informational state, and working through a photograph of a person, which is a perfect source of information. Yeah, this is not medical science, so follow me, follow my thinking. Yeah, if I can work with a perfect information code, then I can download that perfect information code into my DNA, which is an information field.
Right.
Follow my thinking.
Right.
The spiral of energy, scalar energy, is the exact ratio and proportion of DNA. So a perfect administration of scalar energy, perfect light, should impart perfect instructions upon DNA. And that's what I've experienced in my laboratory. I can detect a manipulated DNA. I can detect, if you will, DNA that is mutated, a base pair, addition, deletion, or substitution of a base pair. And with the energy, I can correct that addition, deletion, or substitution of DNA through the information field only on a person's force field on the photograph.
Okay, so if you're doing that with the photograph, how then is that affecting the person themselves?
We don't know, because a person's considered to be an electromagnetic being. Follow me.
Right.
According to conventional science, there is only electricity and magnetism. There is no scalar energy dimension. Scalar energy is not considered a valid theory or a valid science thus far.
Right.
I contend there are, yes, a scalar energy force field that a person enjoys. If my work proves to be valid, not only do we have a biological chemical Tom, but I also have a non-physical, spirit-like dimension. So we're not working again at the physical chemical, we're working at the spirit, which is all non-physical. All of my work is non-physical. So if my work proves to be valid, I've proven that there's another type of energy. I've proven that people have that other type of energy field, and that by correcting that energy field, I can not only identify disease intelligence, but eradicate disease intelligence.
Man, this is a lot to try to wrap your head around, brother. Let me just tell you right now.
I know it is. I know it is. But you have to consider two different paradigms working side by side. Yes, the world we live in is a physical world. Yes, there's protons and electrons. The other, if you will, book match to this is scalar energy that's non-physical. Now, those of you with a religious background, you might hearken to this because people have a soul. The soul is non-physical light. Or you might have consciousness or intelligence. Well, what is that? It's some type of instructions. It's some type of energy base. I say it's scalar energy. So I don't work with flesh and blood. I work with a higher order. I work with a non-physical, soul-like, spirit-like energy.
One of the things that I noted when you first showed that light with the scalar energy is that it looked very much like DNA, right? It looked very, as you mentioned, the double helix. I'm like, well, look at there. That's kind of interesting that it looks the same way. So the fact that you ended up tying that together didn't surprise me too much because it looked like that's where eventually we would go. Those of you not watching the video part of it, yeah, the scalar energy as he showed, it does. It looks like lit up DNA. It is just bright. Yes.
To clarify, very good. To clarify, a scalar wave is the exact ratio and proportion as human DNA.
Yeah.
Now, I believe in God. I believe in a creator. And I believe that God creates DNA from the perfect energy, from the perfect intelligence. So we are made in the image of God. DNA really is a divine imprint.
Right.
Yes, at the end of the train, if at the caboose level, there is chemicals. but the motif, but the template is always a divine impression. Scalar energy gives the divine template, I believe, to DNA.
So what in this instance then? So let's go down that pathway of that scalar energy is divine. If that's the case, then there absolutely is no limitations on what's possible.
Yes. You took the words out of my mouth. Yes. And this is what Tesla saw. Now, when I mentioned that we were going to work with free energy, God gives free energy. God is light. And if God is giving light to the stars, all we have to do is capture the light from the stars. You're not drilling for oil. This is not a coal mine. We don't have to work with fusion, with nuclear fusion. This is free light with a free infrastructure. And this is what Tesla saw. Today, there's a $10 trillion industry that's centered around energy production and energy distribution.
Right.
We could slash that budget to a mere fraction if we were using scalar energy.
Okay, so obviously, once again, we're not talking about biology here. We're not talking about healthcare in a traditional sense either.
Correct.
But by using some of these same things that you're talking about, correcting DNA, doing the removal of certain sicknesses, ailments, however you want to call it, it would also make obviously a huge impact in that realm, where that's actually 20% of the United States. That's 20% of our gross national product right now. So, wow.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And this is the tool of scalar energy. Again, to underscore the matter, energy is fundamental. Energy is at the top of creation. Everything else was the effect. Scalar energy is the instructions for everything, the universe. So why not start at the top in order to control creation? That's my point. Once you're working with a scalar energy source, you're in the driver's seat. Energy drives the universe. I want to drive the car. I don't want to push the car. You drive the car by putting yourself in the primal control. The primal control is scalar energy of the universe.
Man, I'll tell you, this is, as you had mentioned, definitely groundbreaking. Obviously, will be very controversial until it's not, right? Because that's the way things work. Controversial until they're not, because once something is proven, it can still be controversial by people who don't like it, but it doesn't change the facts. That's the interesting part of this. Now, I'm not trying to cut you off here at all, and we're not. The show's not over, guys. I just want you to know that one of the things, if you're intrigued by this, then Tom does offer a 15-day free trial of this. And so you can go out to scalarlight.com. That's SCALAR light, spelled out, .com. So you can go out and check that out too. Once again, I'm not trying to, I just want to bring this interlude in right now so people know, if you're still listening, you can go out there and start taking a look at some of this stuff as well while we're still talking in the background. Now, what does, I would guess, and once again, this is just a guess here, that any process of this would start with some type of talk with you, right? Some type of consultation with you. Is that correct?
No, and I'll tell you why. We've grown so much. Today, I work with over 500,000 photographs.
Wow.
So we're growing. We're growing essentially at a rapid pace. Why? People are happy.
Yes.
We have 3,000 testimonies on our website. So that's a good point. Now, secondly, this is no hard feelings to anybody, but those of you who are listening, this is not medical consultation. I'm not a medical expert. My expertise is with scalar energy, with force fields. That has nothing to do with medicine. I don't want to have anything to do with medicine, which is the physical chemical reaction. I want to introduce a new science above the physical plane. So to answer your question, it's a great question. No, I don't get consultation. I have standardized programs.
Okay.
And when you're working with energy, you can standardize. You see, people are different, but the common denominator with my work is energy, which is common, primal. So when you're working with energy, everybody receives that energy on the same level, and hence no consultation is needed.
All right. So that being said, then obviously there's tons of information people can get off the website itself. And as I'm going through here and looking at this, there are, guys, there's all kind of stuff out here. We're talking about whether you're looking to lose weight, you have addiction issues, there's digestion, endorphin and neurotransmitter, amino acid and proteins, a female hormone program, which a big issue right now is lack of access for females. That stigma is still there a lot of times whenever you're dealing with the need for hormone replacement, whether you're in perimenopause or actually in menopause. So this is another way to look at that. Male hormone program. Guys, we get older and all of a sudden, we may need a little boost here or there. So there's a lot of different things you got going on here, buddy.
Thank you. Why? Because scalar energy has a command over nature. By the way, I practice male hormones, and it makes me stronger. How? By sending the energy, not the chemical, the energy of male hormones into my aura or into my force field. I contend that above the chemical plane is something called the pattern body or the template. Now, why would I say that? Well, if you're an architect, you have architectural plans. And when you're going to build something, you always start with architectural plans. Those are architectural plans. Well, why would God have architectural plans that decide our soul, mind, and body? That's my concept. That's what I want to drive home. The physical body is at the end of the process. It's not the intellectual template. It's not the template of information. The physical body is the end product. If you want to master disease, yes, I mean that, you don't master disease from the physical body. You master disease outside of the human body in the etheric realm or the informational realm that I can access on a person's informational force field. So I'm introducing two concepts here, the physical body and the spirit body. I'd much rather work with the spirit body, the informational body, because it gives me a command over disease in the spirit realm.
All right, so let me take a step back here and ask a question. I don't know the answer to this, but I think it would be interesting to know, because the Lord created all, not just people, but created the animals too. What does this energy work in with animals? I mean, Does it? Okay.
Everything. Great question. Everything. I've been able to work with kangaroos in Australia by way of their photograph. And working through that template, I was able to eradicate, according to the person who had the kangaroo, a bacterial infection. Now, by the way, I've never been to Australia. So how is this possible? How does this energy find its way on a template of a kangaroo and remove a disease signature of bacteria? We don't understand that. I'm telling the audience of my great results. I have 3,000 testimonies on my website. You cannot explain my work by Newtonian physics. What we learn today in college is fine. It's valid. I am introducing a new science in which you cannot explain my outcome by way of a college course on electromagnetics. It just doesn't work. The two are different.
And that's just crazy. I mean, I don't, that's what's difficult, I think, for anyone, right? I mean, I need some quantitative proof. I need to see the science behind it. Well, there ain't none. Sorry.
There is none.
It just works.
Yes.
Why does it work? I don't know.
You're right. Now, I want the audience to consider this. Tesla was one of the world's greatest electrical engineers, perhaps the greatest. He worked with electricity and magnetism for the first half of his life. Later in his life, Tesla was no longer working with electricity. He would never refer to electricity anymore in his notes. He referred to radiant energy, or what he would call the energy of the cosmos. So he changed his course of study from electromagnetic energy to scalar energy, what he called radiant energy. So Tesla believed that there were two energies. And later in his life, he perfected scalar energy instruments. Sadly, we don't realize that. And sadly, we have not capitalized on Tesla's work. Tesla had 3 energy towers. And I keep saying we should have paid attention.
Okay, so do you know of any, trying to think of anyone out there that is, other than yourself, and this is a little more grand scale, I think is what I'm thinking of here, anyone that's working to use this as an actual energy source, and whether it's a test, whether it's a, whatever they're doing, is there anyone out there doing it as an energy source in a bigger scale?
No. And furthermore, I've never seen anybody on the internet that has a scalar energy instrument.
Okay.
Because many of the instruments that I've seen demonstrated are electrical instruments in which they describe their function by way of an electrical current.
Right.
There's no electricity with scalar energy. It's a different paradigm. So now this is as far as what my study is. What I've seen on the internet, nobody has a scalar energy instrument. No one.
So any idea what, you've got this smaller machine kind of behind you that obviously can light up a light bulb. What would harnessing this energy, not electricity, harnessing this energy in a grander scale look like? Have you investigated that yourself or looked at that yourself?
I am. I'm working with engineers right now to amplify the energy. Now, I want to make this clear. If I can, again, hold a light bulb to the instrument and the light bulb will illuminate, well, that's 1x. That's one light bulb. My contention is I can, with certain type of design, amplify the energy 1,000,000-fold with the same instrument. Now, why would I say that? Because there's no die-off, there's no entropy. You do not lose a signal. Right. So all I have to do is start with a little bit of scalar energy, and I can amplify it to a lot of scalar energy 1,000,000-fold. This instrument behind me can light up a city. All I have to do, I'm getting close, to learn how to amplify the signal. I have, if you will, the basic schema, the basic structure. Now it's just a matter of amplifying the energy, and I'll be able to light up a city. If I can light up a city, the world will know.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. It's funny, before we started talking today, we were talking about hurricane that recently came through Texas. And of course, you live in Florida, Hurricane Central, as it were. A source of energy like this would dramatically change outages, right? Would dramatically change the way people are able to recover more quickly from catastrophic events like this, and obviously provide energy. I've got to keep telling myself it's energy and not electricity, and provide energy in places that are difficult to get energy to now.
Yes, that's what Tesla envisioned. And Tesla eventually came to the conclusion that towers, wires are unnecessary. Why? Because the ether, the universe, is your satellite. Right? It's an inbuilt infrastructure. So not only is this free energy, it's a free infrastructure. You do not need satellites or any type of relay station or any type of transformer to move the energy. So this is such a win-win-win-win-win situation.
Man, but I'll tell you, it is interesting, very, very interesting, and it is very, very difficult to wrap your head around. But I think that there is so much potential here if we can, if we will. Those of us that are believers, it literally, it should be easier for us to. We always say with the Lord, our God, all things are possible.
Yes.
Here's the proof. Here it is right here, folks. This is the proof. All things are possible. And once again, it's possible through him. It says it right there in the Bible. All things are possible through him. Well, here's another piece of proof that we can literally light up the world, literally change our health and our being through him.
In the book of Genesis, what did God the Father say? Be light made. Before creation, what was God's action? Be light made. Why? It's at the top of creation. The chemical structure, the chemical consequence follows. The cause is light, specifically scalar light. Scalar light, I mentioned, is non-physical. Why? It's divine.
Right.
God is non-physical spirit. What am I working with? Divine light, divine intelligence. There's not an electron involved. There's no chemicals. We're not at the physical state. We're at the etheric, the heavenly state, the non-physical divine state. This is divine energy.
And, that is actually the only answer. That's the only thing it could be, is what I'm really trying to say here, Tom and folks out there. If you were able to see, and if you haven't got a chance, just jump over to YouTube at some point and at least look at what the scalar light looks like. I mean, if that doesn't help you believe that it was divinely created, especially when, Tom doesn't even have to hold the picture of the DNA. We all know what the double helix DNA, the human DNA looks like. And there's just very little doubt that when you see the picture of the scalar light, that there it is. There's the pure essence of it.
Here's a segue to that. In the 50s and 60s, a man by the name of Antoine Priory created a scalar light plasma tube. This is a photograph of a gigantic scalar light plasma tube that likewise would broadcast scalar energy. This scalar energy plasma tube, if you would position people and animals beneath the plasma tube, Priory and his staff cured people and animals of cancer.
Wow.
This has been done before. It's established. He actually received funding from the French government. But let me repeat myself. Antoine Priory, an electrical engineer, developed this gigantic, powerful scalar energy plasma tube. If you would lie people down on this table, the people had favorable outcomes, and even leukemia was cured. Priory and his staff were curing people of cancer. That's back in the 50s and 60s. And Priory was somewhat of an indication that this is tenable, that light energy can correct.
But now, through the methods that you're using, you don't even have to have the person in person. I mean, I know that the photography and different things, the way you capture it, was not the same then as it is now. And that's not what he was going after anyway. He was literally bringing the people in there. But in what you're doing, all you need is the photograph, because it's capturing the essence that you need.
That's right. Priory had to work with people in the flesh. They had to be present. I never work with people because I work with force fields, which is the new science. A force field that's dictated by a person's photograph. That piece of paper, yes, it's a photograph, but it still captures a light signature. My face has a signature. Your photograph would have a signature. The light of each individual on these photographs is a signature. So we're working in a different realm of physics. Yes.
Are you working? You said you're working about 500,000 people. I'm guessing they're not all in the United States. They're probably all over the world.
That's correct. Many times I receive collages. We do a lot of pro bono work in Africa. Sometimes I receive collages of, say, 100, 200 people from a village or in Asia. So to answer your question, yes, people from around the world, any that's pro bono.
All right. So this is a very important question. You're going to understand why I asked this in a minute. If someone is not a believer, if they do not believe in divine power, have you seen this not work for them?
To answer your question, no, it always works because energy is primal. You can't stop this energy. No matter where you are in the universe, this energy permeates the universe. It pervades the universe. You cannot stop scalar energy. A wooden board cannot prevent the energy from illuminating a light bulb. Nothing can stop the energy. Now, furthermore, when I work with a kangaroo in Australia, obviously that kangaroo is not capable of the placebo effect.
There you go. Right.
The kangaroo in Australia is doing much better and it no longer has a bacterial infection. Can you explain that? No, you can't explain that by Newtonian science. That's certainly not medical science. That's certainly not electricity or magnetism. Why the kangaroo in Australia feels better, that begs a new theory, a new definition.
So I had a great feeling that you were going to answer in that positive way, because once again, it's not about whether you're believed that it'll work or not. It's the fact that you gave it a shot, right? I mean, that's what really the difference is that you gave it a shot. If your belief is so strong that you don't even give it a shot, you ain't getting cured. There's nothing to be done for you. But in this case, even if you do not believe in a divine power, even if you are an atheist, even if you believe in, it doesn't matter which God you believe in, there is still hope that you can be cured, that you can be changed in a positive manner by scalar energy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well put, well stated. Now we see why this is so exciting, people. We're beyond the brick and mortar. We're in the realm of thought. If this small instrument can light up a city, imagine the infrastructure that we don't need. We don't need wires. We don't need cable. We don't need step-down transformers. You don't need a satellite. You don't need cell phone towers. And on top of that, it's free energy from the sun and the stars. There is no pollution. Those who want a green economy, those who want a green landscape, those who are environmentalists will love this. There's no chemicals. It's all intelligence. You cannot have pollution with intelligence.
Absolutely. Wow, this is absolutely amazing stuff, Tom. I can see why you're so passionate about it, because it is a world-altering energy that has been here the whole time.
Correct. Yes. This will change the course of history. Yes.
Yes.
See the big picture.
Yeah.
Once this technology is embraced, it will change the social order. It will have global implications. Exactly. And that's why I keep at this.
So of the folks that you said, you've got thousands of reviews, testimonials and such out on your website. This is kind of a funny question here. Do you have anyone in higher power positions that have helped promote this in any place, or does it seem like this is kind of being shunned? Or if it works for them, they don't tell nobody because they don't want to get knocked off.
That's another excellent question. Let me say this: no government, university, big business, think tank, charity, hospital, scientific group has ever worked with me. Never even approached me. Now, I'm sure they know about me, but many of those people are careerists and they want to protect their career.
Yeah.
That's reality. So I work alone, not by choice, but by default of the role. No, none of those aforementioned groups have ever approached me. Not one. That's reality.
But you have 500,000 people that you've helped it would seem to me like someone in that group would be pushing someone above them or someone else to say, hey, check this out. This is what happened to me. Why aren't we doing something like this to help other people?
Thank you. And you have to follow the money trail.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
Right now, there's no money in free energy or anything. This threat threatens people. It threatens the economic order. And, without clarification, not one of those aforementioned institutions has ever or once contacted me. But they know I exist. I'm public about this. I have a public website. So those of you in the listening audience, the plot thickens, as they say. And you have to ask yourself why Tesla and my predecessor Hieronymus and why I am shunned, even though we have glowing testimonies from people around the world.
Well, I mean, the answer is pretty easy, right? It's certainly...
It's about money.
Yeah, it certainly would... Okay, I'm not going to say it would hurt more people than it would help, but it would certainly hurt a lot of people in a lot of different ways if there was unlimited free energy and if there was non-medical, non-biological ways to heal people.
Exactly. I have nothing to do with the medical community. I have nothing to do with Newtonian science. So you have to start with a new way of looking at reality. It's a new industry. It's a new lifestyle. And how many people want to change from the comfortable lifestyle to change and to have to adapt to a new paradigm?
Yeah.
Not many.
No, not many at all. I applaud the 500,000 people out there that you've already been able to make a difference in their lives. That's an amazing thing. That is a great start to what I believe will be a difference maker, right? I mean, there's no doubt that once more people get this in their mind that it's something that's there. I mean, it's there, whether it's in their mind or not, it's there. Once they adopt this, once they give it a shot, once they see the power that it really brings them, and whether it's the healing or whether they see it as another avenue, that's the corner you're looking to turn. I get that. And I think, once again, I applaud you for putting yourself out there and working so diligently to get more people out there to know about this.
And I thank you for the opportunity to speak about this. Yes, this is different. Yes, you really have to take a step back and look at this different paradigm, this new way of looking at reality. But according to these instruments that follow the laws of science, I'm right on. I'm spot on. Now, keep in mind, there's no auto-suggestion. These are scientifically engineered instruments. I follow the laws of science. There cannot be any duplicity. The laws of science are immutable. I follow the laws of science.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think that's a great point there, Tom. These are scientific instruments that you're using to really show the existence of this energy, right? It's not just, I feel like it's there, so it's there with no scientific proof. The reason why some of this works the way it does, that's what we don't know. That's what you don't know. That's what we can't say. It works because of this. But the existence of it is scientifically proven.
My predecessor, a man by the name of Galen Hieronymus, he secured a U.S. patent for this instrument. And actually a British and a Canadian patent also. So he could prove that there was some type of self-emanation, some type of energy that was coming from material. And he proved that. And in so doing, the patent office said, well, there's some type of self-expression, some type of energy that self-emanates from physical matter. What is that? Well, it's scalar energy. It's the energy from the sun and the stars that's incorporated in the elements of the periodic table. And Hieronymus proved that the elements of the periodic table have this self-expression of scalar energy, free energy. So the free energy of the stars is incorporated in the elements, and the elements still give off, broadcast that free energy.
Wow. Well, folks, I'll tell you, this is a super interesting and amazing, not just technology. I mean, it's not technology. It's a real thing. It's out there in the world with us. There's technology that's showing us its existence and, irrefutable existence out there with scientific instruments and technology showing that it's there. But the embracing of it, obviously, in a grander scale, we're still a little ways from there. But the first thing that you got to do is you got to go out there and give it a shot. And Tom has given you that opportunity for free. Go out there and check it out. Go to his website. That is scalarlight.com, SCALAR light.com. You can go on there and check out all the different things that they offer, all the different programs. You can get your 15-day free trial. There's even there's where you upload your picture. I saw that whenever I was looking beforehand. There's a place where you upload your picture. I didn't even understand what that was about whenever I looked at it. Now I understand what that's about. I'm like, why does he want me to upload my picture? Well, now I get it. All right. But there is so much here that I promise you could probably spend 2-3+ hours just on his website learning more about this. But if you missed any part of this podcast, you probably could get a lot of that same information just by listening to the entire podcast. And what other resources on Scalar Light are out there? Or are you pretty much the only game in town these days?
I'm not trying to be flippant here. There's a dearth of literature. You have to study Tesla. Some of his literature survives. Hieronymus, the man that I've studied under, very little literature has been made publicly available. I have his notes, but I haven't released all of his notes. There's another man by the name of Moray. So Tesla, Hieronymus, and Moray, Moray. Those are 3 scalar energy experts. They all develop instrumentation. And the key is this: you can theorize all day long. If you're a real inventor, you'll have an invention to your name. And those 3 men did.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. That's it. You can make drawings, you can come up with ideas, but until you actually action on it.
Exactly. Thank you
and
so much.
That goes to this too. You can theorize about this, you can think about it all day long, but until you take some action and actually sign up for your 15-day trial, then you're not going to have any idea what it's really all about. I highly recommend that you go out and check out the website, scalarlight.com, that you give it a shot. I'll be clicking on the button here in just a few minutes and sending over my picture. He didn't have to just look at me in a podcast. He's actually going to have to look at me in a picture. I feel really bad for you, Tom, but hey, you brought this on yourself. That's all I can say.
And I'm going to encourage people, with your family's permission, send their photograph in too. That way you can compare and contrast with your family members, with your kids, and send your pets in, because invariably your pets have a disease signature, including viruses and bacteria. And I can, again, identify and eliminate disease signatures in animals.
Wow, that's amazing stuff. Folks, if it costs you nothing more than to take some pictures and send them over, man, I'm taking pictures of everything and everybody. Guess what? Every way, whether you, I am. I'm going to make sure people said it's okay. But I'll tell you, Tom, this has been amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. I really applaud you once again on going way out there and looking at something totally different and finding the divine light in science, right? Out there with its real science and finding divinity out there and bringing that light and that hope to mankind.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure. Thanks for the high regard. And again, people, this technology will eventually take off. This technology will improve the human condition, become a part of our grassroots movement. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks again, Tom. I sure appreciate you being on here, buddy. I will be reaching out to you. I promise you're going to get a picture of my mug coming your way, and we'll see how that divinity works on me, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, folks. Thanks again for being with us. Any closing comments you want to make there, Tom?
No, let's unite as mankind. The problem with the human race is we fight. If 8 billion people unite and work, it's going to be a different world. Let's stop fighting. 8 billion people united can solve problems. Help me solve the world's problems.
Yeah, man. Very, very well said. All right, folks. Thanks so much. I told you this was going to be a unique one. I hope that you really got something out of this. Give it a shot. I'll tell you right now, go out to scalarlight.com, learn some more about it. If you're still just kind of on the fence, go out and learn a little bit more about it. Read some of the testimonials that people have had as well. I think that it'll help push you over that edge and giving it a shot. Maybe you've got something that you just feel like is never going to get better. What have you got to lose except for that pain and that's been bothering you, that's been dragging you down for so long? Once again, appreciate you being on the Health and Wealth Power Hour. Don't forget, we got a lot of other stuff going on. If you want to subscribe to the Health and Wealth Power, you go to hwpowerhour.com. You can also listen to us weekly as we give you updates on what's going on in the industry, both the healthcare and health insurance and financial services world. We keep you updated on what's going on. Lots of lawsuits right now all across that world. But you can go listen to us live across multiple platforms at 10 a.m. Central Time. Go out to LinkedIn, connect with me. Love to connect with you. And then don't forget, last week of every month, we do Why Does Healthcare Suck? That's right. Why does healthcare suck? We jump into all the crazy things that are going on in the healthcare world, help you to understand the pitfalls of our healthcare system, but also help you to avoid those and show you better ways to do things so that you get the healthcare that you deserve. Thanks again for being with us. We'll catch you next time on the Health and Wealth Power Hour. We are out of here.